For loop acts as a iterator in Python, and it goes through each items that are in sequence or any other iterable items. So for loop is basically used for iterating any list, tuple, dictionary. So when you use a for loop on the dictionary, it will iterate by default on the keys. And if you want to iterate on the dictionary, you have to use dictionary.items. So we'll discuss in that in next lecture. And so basically the syntax diagram for the for is like for item in, and you say here object, and so here you will write your statements, the to do step you want to do here. So this is the basic syntax of writing a for loop. So let's take an example. So suppose you have a list. I say list 1 equals 2. These are my items in my list. So I say 3 4 5 6. These are my values. So what is object here? Object is list 1, and this object is iterable. So you say for num in lst1. So if you want to iterate over this particular object, and you are taking the each value from this list and keeping the value in num variable. So now I say my business logic says I want to print the numbers whatever there we have in the list. So it will print my all the numbers. So this is how you can use a for loop. And so let's take another example. So I say I have a list. I say for num in list 1. So I am iterating over each element in the list, and I have to check whether the number is even or not. So if I say if num modulo will give you the remainder after division. So if modulo 2 is divisible, then give print the number, or you can say it is a even number. Okay, and in else condition you can say print it's a odd number. So this is how you can use a for loop with if and else conditions. So let's take another example. I say I have a list of sum equals to 0, and this is my variable which will have the sum equals to 0. So I say for num in list 1, and I say I want to calculate the sum of all the items in my array or list. So I say list sum plus num. So you can also write the above statement, say list sum plus equals to num. Okay, and outside the for loop you can write what is the total value of all the element inside the list